Hey Alan, what day is it?
It's YouTube Wednesday!
The walls are covered in foam board insulation.
My soldering iron is hot enough now where it does a good job on the foam just with a light touch. Make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area because this can get fumy. If you haven't done this a lot, then maybe you want reference for your castle brick kind of deal. I am actually starting on the wall that they walk in through. This way, this will be the last thing that they see. They have to turn around to see it. So if I screw up on this, that's not that big of a deal. And this is all I'm trying to do is get in this little score line that will help me when I go to use the heat gun to get texture and stuff in this. Now that that is in, it's important to hit those edges too so that brick really goes somewhere. So whatever you start with, think about how many bricks you're putting in, because that is what you have to do for the whole wall. So you don't want to, put in all these little tiny bricks, or else as you want to speed up your work, you end up just having areas of much larger bricks, which kind of is weird. Rounding those corners is pretty important. And after this, we'll mud these to fix some cracks that are weird. This should go pretty fast if you have an idea of where you want your bricks. We have kind of a weird area here. We're gonna hang an animal skin there. This is a goblin guardhouse. Not a goblin godhouse, that's different. So I want rocks at least as big as my head. I think I'm gonna take off this and just use the stub end. Don't catch this screw as it falls out. It will be warm. Okay. Just a nice wider line. It's just taking that hard 90 off. I'm gonna look at my other room. I can see it through here. Mostly squared off blocks. Got it, so that's my reference. Everywhere there's hard corners, I want to knock those down. I can go pretty fast with this. Slower I go, the deeper the line gets dug. Fix these weird corners. Stones aren't shaped like that. They don't have little pigeon beaks in them most of the time. And I'm okay with this. I want to test the heat gun on it. But now I've got texture in the stone. I have some little ups and downs. It's also heat shrunk it and kind of hardened it. Take a step back and look at it from about 10 feet away. Yeah, from here I can see the texture in it. I like how those bricks are looking. It's simple, it's fast. I'm gonna knock out the rest of this panel and then we'll carry on with the room. I like how fast it is. Like I said. So length doesn't matter, but your tip matters. My tip is, I've got a real thin tip, which gets me a nice line. If I push a little bit harder, the shoulders of that are actually giving me a nice separation between the blocks. So I really like how that is working out. So I don't just have the wire tip of the other one or the shoulders of the other one. I have a little bit of both. Now I put one block just out in the middle. That's so I can control myself. If you start on one side and then go all the way to the other side, what ends up happening is your blocks will get smaller, or normally they get bigger because you don't want to do as many. So by doing a couple big random blocks first, you're really setting yourself up to have a little more randomness in your pattern. The randomness of which block that I pick. And I don't want one seam all the way across. I want to make sure that my blocks hit on different parts. And not just problem solving. I'm fitting all my puzzle pieces together. That's a long run that way. I gotta make sure I don't do that again. Best way to do that is put a block right here. All these corners, I don't want them very sharp. I'm rounding off my corners. Guest perspectives, very important. I'm still not to a hero wall. I'm refining my technique on these walls that are offshoots. I normally do bigger blocks towards the bottom because I don't like bending over while I work. And you'd have foundation blocks down there. You would have larger blocks that you put down there because they were bigger, stronger bases. So when I'm working, I'm thinking, who built this? I know that this is a goblin guardhouse. Goblins built this. That's going to affect my craftsmanship, how big the blocks are that they used, and was it built under duress? You know, slave labor tends to care not so much about how it's done. One of the words I had to look up when I was reading Conan, like the Robert E. Howard novels, was cyclopean. Cyclopean building. What that means is built with different sizes of stone. That's all it means. And I just try to remember that word when I'm working on this kind of stuff. I want these all to be different sizes. They're squaring them off, but they're also, to a degree, they're using what they find. I'm sure there's an ogre who works with the goblins, and he does probably the stone cutting and some of the big rock moving. The goblins do all the mortar work and fitting and all that. Closing in on having this wall done, I want to be short a step stool, but I can go ahead and heat gun what I've got. This is one of those just classic old haunted house skills. I bet I did my first foam wall in like the 80s. That's that nice tight crack that I did. Watch when I hit it with the heat gun. Just gets more crisp. I'm just following the lines. I'm getting pretty fast detail. I'm getting a decent rock texture. It's not amazing. It's still pretty flat, but these walls are harder to pick at than white styrofoam. These light nicely because they have enough texture. You run a light across them, it picks up all of this. And again, this is not really a hero wall. I'm just gonna do a little test. I used to do this technique. Now that water acts as a standoff. And look at the different texture that I get on a brick with water on it. Isn't that neat? Let's just say I like that. Trying to catch myself if I do any kind of a pattern. I don't want the same constant pattern all the time. A couple of times I've heated in just like sad faces or whatever, just real quick. And that's kind of cool on a fairy tale thing like this, but it's fun. It's kind of fun. That feels nice. That'll paint great too. We got a wall done. Do you want to do a wall?
I've only been back for a couple weeks, but I'm already phoning it in. I'm handing this off to Chris, who is our head of build here at Dark Hour. And this was kind of his project. You'll see me pop in and give some advice and some direction every now and then. This is Chris's project. I'm going to let him talk you through this.
Hey, this is Chris, the build director here at Dark Hour, and with me is Robert.
This is Robert. I help too. That's me right there with the long hair.
Yeah, so we're here to react to or go over some of the things that we've done here. Right now, you can see we're using the soldering iron to kind of cut out some of the bricks up top to give you sort of that castle look where people would look over to shoot arrows and things like that down at their enemies. These rocks are not very uniform because this area was built by goblins. Up there in the back, I'm the guy in the blue shirt. I just cut out a section that is broken off because it's supposed to be kind of an old fort as well.
And that's like the main hero wall, because when people are going through the path, that's the main wall they see. So it looks more detailed than the rest of it.
Yeah.
And something that we do not discuss enough is ventilation. There's a lot of fumes coming off of this insulation foam, and I highly recommend putting a fan when you work, opening some doors.
We did have open doors here. It's kind of hard to see. You can't see them from this video, but there are open doors down the hallways. We had fans set up to try and ventilate it the best we could.
We tried.
We definitely should have been wearing respirators, but I mean, that's just kind of what you do sometimes, is you forget that.
When you do this at home, you're going to wear respirators, PPE, and open windows and doors.
Right now, Robert is sort of giving a rocky texture to the pink foam. He keeps doing it at different angles. That'll kind of let you melt parts of the foam at different rates, because you can see it kind of slopes in it sometimes. That's just all from how he's angling the heat gun at it.
And right here, I'm also refining the edges. Like, we're trying to round off all the edges of the stone. And when you're doing this amount of stonework, you're going to forget edges left and right.
Yeah.
So, you just catch them as you're working and, pick some.
We'll refer to, like, if there's a real sharp corner, bird beaks. We don't want bird beaks in a rock because that's not really realistic. You don't see that a whole lot.
Here comes the paint.
Yep. We're going to base it in a layer of black paint to start with. I'm starting to roll it on.
I remember you said, in this moment, you said, the roller's not working because it wasn't getting in the cracks.
Yeah.
And we fixed that with sponge work.
Yep. You'll see me rolling it on for a while, and here I am pointing it out to you.
It's not getting in the cracks.
Yeah.
After we fucked with it.
And then I said, but Chris, here's the sponge.
Here we go. The sponge definitely worked a whole lot better because it's able to compress into those grout lines, and we ended up just kind of smearing it on. It just worked a whole lot better. You could also use like a paint sprayer. We just didn't have one at the time.
I really do like the sponge work because you can put a lot of paint on there. You can load up your sponge and then spread it out from there.
Yeah, the sponge does really good at absorbing that paint, and it's like a brush. You don't have to dip every 10 seconds.
I use sponges for a lot of different things, and especially when doing other layers of paint where you do a little more dry brushing. I like to use sponges over brushes. Ooh. You're working faster, Chris.
It definitely worked a whole lot faster than the roller did. But it was also a very large room, and we had a lot of paint to cover.
Yeah, I remember that we had a show either same day or the day after.
I think it was the day after, because for that show the walls were just black because we didn't get to spraying just yet.
This was almost a year ago that we did this. We're looking back. We don't remember what we're watching. We're just as surprised as our viewers at home. We're impressed by our work. Now the room, not directly after this, but like 2 rooms over, we hand painted the stone. So it doesn't have that 3D feel, but they're painted pretty well, and they're UV reactive. So it does look pretty good. Look, there I am loading up the sponge with a lot of paint. But anyways, the room with the painted on stone, the reason it works so well is because you walk through this room first, and it gives you that illusion of stone. And then when you walk in the other room, you don't think, oh, it's just painted on. Like your brain has already filled in the gap, and it thinks it's also really nicely textured stone, 3D stone, but it's not.
It is funny that we did this after that one, though.
The other one, we did, Alan had just had some sort of a, what do you call it, procedure done, and he couldn't turn his neck around. I can't talk about what it was.
Yeah.
But he should have not come into work, and he was right there painting with us.
But Alan loves what he does, and he wants to be here with us.
Yeah, he will sacrifice for the passion of the haunt.
What I'm doing right now is I'm dry brushing white over the top of that. That heat gunning we did and everything was to texture this off so that there are highs and lows. Dry brushing is exactly as it sounds. You get the brush kind of as dry as you can, and then you brush over the top of it. All those high points and rough points will hold on to that paint, and all your low points are real dark. Alan did come in here later and wanted it brighter. That's Alan right there doing that. So he is going heavier on it. It's still dry brushing, just a much, much heavier hand while doing it. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to put UV green paint over the top of it, and the blacks and the whites will give you a variation of green in there, just to make sure everything has more of that, not quite animated feel, but it adds a lot of texture to it visual. Yeah.
Texture and depth. And if you see, Chris is like changing his hand around, so it's not just up and down. It goes like side to side, up, down, like crisscross applesauce. Because you don't want all those lines to be uniform.
The best way to hide lines are with more lines. Because if you can get them all going in different directions, they kind of eventually just blend together in the eye.
There's Chris not happy to be on the floor.
The floor is so far away.
There's Chris getting all the spots I need a ladder for.
I'm on a ladder. People make fun of me whenever I have to go up on a ladder because they ask me why I can't just reach it.
Right. The paint, the UV paint, it's going into the sprayer this time.
Yep. We actually hooked up a sprayer for this one because we decided it was going to be easier.
Oh, that's bright.
It is so bright on that camera.
So I was using a light that we just bought on this set, which is a really bright light that I use for filming. And I remember it was like really bright in here while we were filming.
Yeah, all that white was just reflecting that light directly onto you.
Look at how fast the sprayer works.
But as you can kind of see now, like where the blacks and whites are giving the green different shades just because of what it's now sitting on. I'm moving a board around up there just so I'm trying to control my overspray. And then we came in with a little airbrush to re-darken all those grout lines, because spraying all that green did brighten up our grout lines, and we want them to be nice and dark so you can see the bricks individually.
And a little bit of overspray is pretty good to have as well, to give that rounded edge. Like, look at that. Those stones are just coming to life. Yeah, this is just, it's a small room. It's a quick walkthrough, but it gives you, it sets up the realm of the main character here, which is Maeve McKenna. She's the Goblin Queen. So you go through this room, the armory, and then you go through, what do you call it, the pigeon room?
It's the bird room. There's a specific name for it, but I don't remember.
Aviary. And then you go into the throne room.
That was easy.
Yes, Chris, that was easy. Okay, here we go. Final reveal. This is a guest path. You walk in like this, and it's an armory. See? They got weapons there.
There's a weapons rack. There's a Frenchman up there telling you that he's already got one.
He's going to taunt you a second time.
He's spitting in your general direction. This is the bird room. It's the exact same method we used in there. You didn't see us working on it, but again, it's the exact same type of method. It gives it a very whimsical but still dark feel. Like you expect there to be some sort of mischievous, evil little creatures in there.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We want to say thank you to our Patreon people. We want to invite everybody to come to Monster Camp
Absolutely.
and come to Dark Hour whenever we have shows. We're going to have our haunt season starting in September.
Yep. Come see our goblins.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Go make stuff.